Hey there, guys. It's Mia here. I am so excited. As always, I'm excited about this quick live today. Let me make sure I share it. The title of the live is simply Four Decisions That Will Create Results for You Faster Than anything I've ever seen. And I'm just going to share with you based on my years of experience. Over the last 26 years, I've had the great privilege and honor to coach so many amazing women, and I'm going to share with you exactly the four things that each of these women have done over the years to be able to create significant results in both their businesses, in their lives, and their self view. So do me a favor. This is going to be a very powerful live. You're going to want to take out note cards, or you want to write this down. I want to make sure I share this with everyone here because it's going to be a good one. All right. For those of you who are just meeting me, I'm Mia Redrick, business and life consultant. I got started advising clients about 26 years ago, made a decision to go to work as myself. I wanted to figure out exactly how I could package my background as a corporate trainer and use my skills, my knowledge for myself. I was already great at what I did. I worked for a Fortune 100 company at the time, and I loved what I did, but I just felt that there was more for me. And maybe you have had the exact same thought. You're in the right place today. I'm going to share today, over the next couple of minutes, four decisions that create results faster than almost anything else. Now, I want you to know this, that at the end of this live, I'm going to make available an opportunity for 10 women who hear this and this resonates with deeply. I'm going to prove to you that what I'm saying on these four things are exactly the thing. So there's going to be an opportunity for 10 women. That's pretty cool. I'm just going to do it on the spot, who hear this and you're like, this resonates with me deeply. The reason I wanted to do this live is because a lot of times in my journey, I've met thousands of women who desperately want a different life. Like maybe they want to have a business that does six figures, or maybe they want to make the transition from their jobs to running a company that can sustain them. Or maybe they already make six figures in their profession and they want to create another income, another stream of income. But I can tell you this, that wanting isn't enough. Okay. The women who want to change their income, they have to change their confidence. All right. And, I know that you've seen this before, because a lot of times when we see women who have the things that we want, they just show up differently. Right. The women who build businesses and completely transform their lives, they've made a decision. They are not wanters, they're decision makers. And I'm going to break all of that down over the next couple of minutes. And I promise you, as a result of you hearing this and leaning into this, that it's going to really support you. It's going to really change you. And it might even change your level of decision making, like what you're doing. I've got my note cards, as always, right? I have my note cards just so I can make sure. Let me make sure you guys can see me. Yeah. Because this is a good one. Four things I wrote down today, and I was like, these are the things that the women that I've worked with, what they've had in common. So I'm going to share those things, and at the end of the live, I'm going to create an opportunity for 10 women who are ready to demonstrate that they are serious and not just interested in change. And then over the coming months, I'll report back to you, as you know I will, what happens, because I can tell you for sure that when we make a decision to change, lives change. The first decision one, write this down, is you have to change your proximity. You have to change your proximity. You become normal to the room you're sitting in. And I think a lot of times we don't think about that. If everyone around you thinks $100 is expensive, you'll think $1,000 to coach is crazy. Okay. But if everyone around you is building $1 million business, suddenly you feel like six figures is just way too small. So most people, as I've experienced it, they don't have an income problem. They have a proximity problem. And what that means is that they are not in the right rooms. And I want to talk to those of you who are my 10, 20, 30-year individuals who have had tremendous experience, those of you who have invested tons of money in your preparation, your certifications, your college, your upper level degrees. And the challenge is that I see so many of these women in the wrong rooms. Okay. You need to ask yourself, who are you spending your time with? Who's stretching you to think bigger about yourself? Who makes excellence look normal? Okay. Now I can tell you this for sure, that I work with and have a culture of women that I work with called giants. I only work with giants. And the reason I call it that is because what I've seen over the years is if I put a group of women together, whether it's a coaching cohort or whether it's a live event, and they are the same ambition level and above, the magic of what can happen in that room is transformational. Versus if I allow any group of person just to show up, and let's say it's someone that's not motivated, not pre-qualified, not self investment minded, not an implementer, a person that whines, they lower the energetic vibration of what's possible, even for the people who are at full capacity. One of the things that I think is so important and we don't talk about enough is proximity, having access to the thing that can create the change for you. And now let me break this down a little bit deeper for you. For those of you who've been watching me on my lives over the years, and that's, we've got over 8,000 lives out there over the last 20 years. And so there are people who have seen me, right? Like seen me, watch me, and maybe this is you, seen more than one video, but you don't have proximity to me. Okay. You see me, but unless you are working with me, unless I see you, okay, unless I know you, there's no real proximity. And I want you to understand that the women that you've seen on the testimonial videos, the clients that you've seen go from brand new to being able to close their first deal for $5, $10, $15, $20,000, $100,000 or more, the individuals who didn't know what they were doing exactly to figuring it out, those individuals figured it out not by just watching me passively. They had proximity to me. It means that each and every week, likely, they had some level of access, maybe through some type of, whether it was a coaching program or direct advisement or a VIP day, they had proximity. And I promise you that people who create the fastest level of results do it because they have proximity to their mentors and their teachers. They have someone that can see them, that can coach them, that can mentor them, and it makes all the difference. And if you've been thinking, okay, that you can watch and glean and be on the outside, I promise you, it is the reason why you're not moving as fast as you would like to be. Are we clear? All right. The second decision that has to be made when you want a faster outcome is you have to raise your standards instead of comparing yourself. Now, I say this and I mean this wholeheartedly. I don't compare, right? For myself, I calibrate. Comparison makes you either feel superior or inadequate, but standards ask a completely different question. Hang in there with me for a minute. What level of excellence am I willing to require of myself? See, that's the standard. Okay. When you talk about things like keeping your word or respecting time or honoring commitment or charging appropriately or showing up consistently, those are standards. And I promise you that when you raise your standards of how you're going to show up, a higher standard will quietly change every area of your life. And the reason that coaching and mentoring works, it has less to do with guruism. Trust me on this, okay? It has everything to do with proximity, okay, and being in an environment where a healthy standard for you is normalized, where keeping your word is normalized, where you standing in your value is normalized, where showing up like the giant you are is normalized. That is one of the quickest and fastest ways to shift your outcome. And I say this because I work with so many incredible women who think, oh, it's my smarts, it's my, oh, I could, and they want to tell me about all the things that they know and all the things that they've done. And all those things are amazing. If you were in front of the client today, you could create amazing results. But the reason right now that the business isn't where it needs to be, I promise you, is because you don't have the coaching and the mentorship directly looking at you, and the standard of what you're accepting right now is a low standard for you. So like I talk to clients sometimes or prospects who come to me and they're selling something for $1,500. It's like the max they've done their whole business. And they really they create tremendous value, tremendous results, but they have a low standard. And because they have a low standard, they've been attracting individuals who are not investment minded. They're attracting individuals who aren't serious about creating results. They're attracting people who they want that need help versus people who are seeking a solution. And I promise you, they're completely different individuals. Is this resonating? Is this making sense? I wanted to today come here and share from my heart, having coached thousands of women over the years, and just break down the 4 things that I know are what could create the greatest outcome for you if you just employ these things. And as I promised, for those of you who are just joining me, I'm going to make an opportunity available for 10 individuals. When they're gone, it's gone. And then I'm going to report back to those of you who said, I want to be in the first 10. Mia, I want to have a conversation with you today. And I want to know how I can do these things. All right. And that if you've been watching me over and over again, it's a no-brainer. It's going from being on the outside to being on the inside, right? And we've talked about already proximity and the importance of being in the room. And I don't care if that room is an online room where you're meeting with your mentor, your coach, or a physical room where you're actually in a room with the people who represent your next level of thinking, the person you are becoming. Does that make sense? And that too, that we shift our standards from this idea of having low standards or operating in low standards. It's like for those of you who've ever signed up for a program or coaching and you're inconsistent about how you show up. That's a low standard. All right. I'm talking to those of you who want shift, who want change, who are willing to do what it takes to live that next version. You've got to be that next version in your standards. Are we clear? Number 3, the third thing that is really important if you want to realize your results faster is number 3, you have to invest before you feel ready. Now, I already know whenever I talk about an investment question, for those of you who've not been strategic investors in yourself via coaching and mentorship. I'm not talking about going to school and investing $400,000 or $600,000 in yourself. I'm not even talking to those of you who haven't invested in your children. As you know, I've invested multiple millions of dollars in my kids' elementary through high school experience, not counting college even, okay? So I'm an investor. I'm talking about investing in yourself. And I wrote here, unapologetic investment. What do I mean? I mean, when you have a big dream, a calling on your life, a God-called purpose to fulfill, the reality is that you are investing before you actually are ready, right? Because the purpose that you see, you're not exactly sure of the how. Are we right? But I can tell you one of the things that at least what I did over the years, I knew I wanted to build a business. I wanted to work from the comfort of my home. And so I hired mentors who worked from the comfort of their home. And I said, if you're not free, you can't teach me. Now, it didn't mean that there were people who were working a job and coaches that couldn't have helped me. But because my desired outcome was not to split my time that way, I decided that I was going to invest in someone that could show me how to do this thing. Now, here's the thing. I made the investment before I was ready. I made the investment before I was free. I made the investment before I had the income, really any guarantee that I could even do this thing. My very first coaching investment, and hear me on this, this is over 20 years ago, was $1,000 a month with an 18-month contract. And at that time, my business was not making any money. I invested before I was ready. And that is the one thing that probably changed my life more than anything, and the lives of the women that I've served. I have had clients who have invested their very last dollar to bet on themselves, and they've changed the trajectory of their lives. And I will tell you that the woman who waits until she feels comfortable almost always stays exactly in the same place. Always. Okay. The woman, and I would say the women who invest in themselves, even when it stretches them, hear me on this, grow in their personal capability of producing greater results. Why? Because you can't walk anyone through a process you've not gone through yourself mentally. When you understand, it's why I can stand behind this and talk to you right here, because I know that had I not made these strategic investments that I made in myself, I wouldn't have known how to build a coaching business from the comfort of my home. I know that. I know if I didn't invest in myself and learning how to run Facebook ads so long ago, I had no idea. I mean, it was very expensive. It was like $2,000 a month plus your ad spend to hire an agency and have them run your ads for you. Are you kidding? Was I ready for that? No, I was going to lose the win, but I invested before I was ready. And you know what? In the process of that, I started building amazing leads. I started learning things about marketing in a completely different way. And if you're that person that you're waiting for the evidence that you're ready, you're going to still be waiting this time next year. Okay. It's just the truth. You know, the fact is that every breakthrough in your business will follow an investment before certainty. I promise you. Investment of time, investment of money, investment of effort, and eventually you become certain, right? Because of your forward moving. Investment isn't about spending money, and this is what so many people think. It's evidence of belief. When we make investments, we are demonstrating our belief in the thing we want to do. And I tell you, it's an inside job. Like a lot of times we think that I hear people sometimes they'll say investment is like spending money. It's not. You're investing in your beliefs, your belief that the thing you want to do, one, is possible, two, you deserve it, right? Three, you believe that there's a possibility that it can happen for you. You're investing in the future of you. All right. And so for those of you who struggle around this, the reason you struggle is because of your belief. It has nothing to do with this. I watch people all the time who will say, "Me, I want to work with you. Let me try to figure this out." And they'll say, because I don't really know how I'm going to do it right now. And I'll say, "Well, you know, you have to find the money." And they do. And you know what? And then they compound the money that they invested. Had they not figured that level of belief out for themselves, they wouldn't have been able to compound that which they invested in themselves. I want you to hear me today. We're talking about, you know, what are the four things that allow you to create the greatest level of outcome the quickest? And I promise you, it's not your degrees, it's not your courses, it's not all your investments, it's none of the things that you think. It's not the fact that you're even at the top of your game, because there are people right now that are doing the thing that you want to do, and they are not as qualified as you, but they invest differently in themselves. And then because of that, they believe differently. The fourth thing, and is equally as important, is you've got to execute faster and more consistently. All right. Speed of execution and consistency is everything. And this might be the biggest separator. You know, people overestimate information and they underestimate execution. Let me repeat that. People often overestimate information. I know this, I know that, I know the other thing. I work with a lot of smart women, they know a lot of things, but they underestimate execution. You know, sometimes the greatest thing that can serve you the most is imperfect action, not just getting it all just right, When I think about the number of people over the years that have said to me, Mia, once I do this, then I'm going to come and work with you. You mean you're like been working on this idea all this time and it hasn't worked? And you're trying to get it perfect to take it to a coach that can help you. You want to grow a coaching packet program or a consulting business, and you haven't profitably done it yet. And you want to have hundreds of people in your practice. That's what you want. And you have the opportunity to have proximity with someone that has done that and beyond. And you want to spend time by yourself getting that right before you go to the person that has done it. Is it real? You hear me on this, okay? Or I will tell you, one of the things that people don't think about is repeated action. Consistency and persistency will win every single day. All right. Because there's a value of doing the thing again and again and again, because you grow because of it. When people think about success and they think, I'm going to do a whole lot today, and then they don't do anything for 2 or 3 days afterwards, right? Okay. The reality is that if you're just consistent and persistent over time, you create a level of discipline and mastery. You come to understand yourself. Like when I first started doing lives, I was using this platform called Periscope so long ago. It's now obsolete. And man, I didn't know how to do lives. I literally would go and hit the button every single day. I didn't invite anyone to come over there because I was still trying to make sure I wasn't shooting my toes. The people weren't going to see my toes, right? Because I didn't know how to use it. But I practiced every single day. And eventually I became really good at doing live videos using these kind of platforms. It wasn't that I did a lot in one day and did nothing for 2 weeks. I was consistent. I was persistent. I showed up. And then because of it, I built mastery. I'm talking about me. I want you to think about you. And I want to talk about speed of execution. Speed is important. I watch average women outperform women because they execute. Okay. And they execute quickly. So when I say this, I get excited because the one thing that I see among the women who are most successful that work with me is that they say yes and figure it out. They're those kind of people. And then you have the people that they're just around in a loop, just in the loop every day, like a loop. Every day they're in a circle of themselves, right? A circle where they never make a decision, a circle of they're always considering something, a circle of always researching something, a circle of always checking out something, a circle of trying to find another solution that's a lower solution so they don't have to really invest in themselves, a circle of asking everybody else for permission to show up for themselves. Y'all know I'm just breaking it all the way down as I often do. And I know that if you're watching this live and you've been that person and you've been in that circle, you're in the exact same place. When I think about execution, it's the woman that, who will see a video like this and say, you're for me, reach out to me, DM me, which many of you will, and say, hey, I want to have a conversation, because that is the kind of person that changes their life. That was me. I went to a live event long time ago, and that live event changed my life. I had never heard of coaching or even thought about hiring a coach in terms of personal development or business growth. I was new to the party, but I saw something in a room that I wanted to be in my life. I wanted to be a person that could impart her knowledge and her wisdom one to many. I wanted to know how to run that same type of business from my home. And I saw someone demonstrate what that looked like. And because I believed in myself, okay, I executed on that. I didn't need an offer. I didn't need a reminder. I didn't need any of those things because I knew what I wanted. And I say this to you because hopefully you feel my heart in this. And if you can feel it, I want you to write me. I feel you. Because so many women are so caught in their titles or their job responsibilities, or, your 2 phones, you can't, you're prioritizing everything but your dream and yourself. And the truth of the matter is so many women are avoidant around stepping into their next for themselves, not realizing that the thing that's making you not have the time for yourself is the very thing that needs to be second, right? Like you are your number one. And I talked about this a couple lives ago. You know, so many women have lost their jobs since 2024. My goodness, so many government workers, so many women of color. If you don't do this thing quickly now, what are we waiting for? Okay, you know, like what are we doing? All right. And I'm not here to scare anyone or I'm just here to keep it real. Like just have an honest conversation with someone that's looking to have it. So I want you to look at these four decisions, right? And because they're not complicated and they are available to every single one of us. You got to one, change your proximity. Okay. Change your access, your level of access, and you get to decide how you're going to change that. Meaning, from being on the outside, watching something passively, you know what I mean, sitting in the back of the room, being one of many on some kind of Zoom call, to having some level of access, being seen around your brilliance. You got to raise your standards. The standard is, well, it'll be okay if I made another $50,000 this year. How will that change your life? Well, it won't, but it would be nice. What about having the standard to change your life? Okay. What about having the standard to be able to work from the comfort of your home or anywhere you choose? What about having the standard to be able to put your kids in world-class schools? What about having the standard of a man not being a plan and your job not being a plan? What about changing your standards? Okay. Invest unapologetically, right? Like in yourself. You're your number one asset. And you know what? Investing in yourself, growing who you are, like what's the return of that? For me, what I've seen is changed my entire life. And to be under 60, to have worked from the comfort of my home, all like most of my entire adult life is amazing. Okay. And it all started for me around making investments unapologetically, investing before I actually had the money. It was deciding you're the person that I need you to teach me. Okay, you know, and moving confidently in that direction. Me deciding that if I'm gonna become that, I have to invest like that person. I gotta think like that person. All right, executing consistently, not just buying something and not showing up. Anybody could do that. And let's be clear that the reason things have not worked for you is because you've invested in the wrong kind of things. If you aren't showing up, you need to be seen. You need to be in environments that see you. Does that make sense? You need someone to know your name. All right. That's important. Okay. Not babysit you, but that knows your name, that says, what are you bringing next week? I had a client who I was on a call with yesterday, a group call. And one of the things I said, next week, what are we doing? Like, are you going to bring this, that? She's like, yeah, I am. Okay. You need something like that. Okay. And I want you to understand the similarity of all of these things. None of these things require permission. They require a decision. And the question is, are you in that place to make a decision? Now, remember this, that earlier I told you that I wanted to create an opportunity for, I say 10 women. Okay. And here's why. I don't want today's live to become another piece of content that you just agree with, or the people in general, like, I just love that mirror. I want it to become evidence. Okay. And I'm opening a special opportunity for 10 women who know that you have years of experience and you need the right strategy to package it, to price it, to position it, and you want to generate premium income. Okay. And whether that's six figures or whether that's $500,000, whether that's growing your business from where it is to multiple millions of dollars, I'm talking to you. And over the coming months, I'm going to have these women report back to you. Okay. Not because they're special. Nope. Because they decided. And I want to show you what happens when women decide. The women you've read about, the hundreds of testimonials that you've seen that I show you from my clients, they made a decision. Okay. And I want everyone that's watching to see in real time what happens when someone stops waiting and they start executing with the right strategy, when they have mentorship that sees them. And if you're one of those 10 women, okay, this is what I want you to do. And I want you to write this down. Since you have a goal, right, to hit and exceed where you are right now, if you feel that you're ready, okay, you're investment minded, you are ready to raise your standards, like all the things that I talked about today, and you know that you need direct support to be able to realize whatever this next level looks like for you, that you want a mentor that sees you, that holds you accountable, then I want you to reach out. I'm going to post a link here and we can have a conversation. You can either email me. Okay, wait a minute. Let me post a link here. Or you can fill out this business diagnosis page, in which case it will allow us to schedule an appointment. The first 10 are the only ones I'm going to take. And I promise you, when I share what this is, it's not anything that you can find on any website. It's nothing, it's direct mentorship to get you there. And you commit, you're saying in essence that you're comfortable sharing what this journey is going to look like with our community of other women who will see you because you made a decision. So that's our agreement. Yes, it does require monetary investment, but if this sounds like something that you've been looking for and you're ready, then you can DM me here, depending on what platform this is. It's a lot of platforms. You can either fill out this diagnosis page, in which case we'll reach out. But remember, when I hit 10, it's it. So you've got to take an action. If this is something like, I've always wanted to work with you, Mia, and direct mentorship and advisement with strategy to help you hit and exceed your goals. So if it's packaging the product to sell it, fine. Okay, you know it's going to be high ticket because that's the only thing that I do. If it's I already have a product and when I need to change what it is because it's not working, what I'm doing it's not working, and we go to the next level of elevation, maybe it might not be the product. Maybe it might be you and the highest level of strategy and accountability on what that can look like. But no matter what, if this resonates with you in some way, then I posted the link here in this thread. You should see it here. And you have the opportunity to book a call now. Okay, I would tell you to do it right now. When the first 10 spots are gone, they're gone. Now, my commitment to those of you watching this, as I always do, I keep my promises. And I'm going to have those 10 women, I'm going to feature those 10 women here. And you're going to have an opportunity to see over the next 90 days how they have changed their lives because of their decision making. Today, I talked about 4 shifts that'll change your life the fastest. And the first, I talked about the power of proximity, right? Not just being on the outside, being on the inside, all right? And getting what you need, getting your needs met on the inside. And that's why the room does matter, all right? Secondly, I talked about standards. Who do you compare yourself to? Who are you in the room with? Like, who are you in the room with? What are you guys talking about? When clients come into the rooms that are in the spaces I create, they come in a room where we already know that everybody in there wants to hit 6 figures and beyond. And many of them already have. So we're talking about what next level success looks like. And it's for that person with that level of mentality, right? It's not about how many degrees I have. It's not about how long I've been working and how I'm such a badass. That's the assumption. The question is, what are you going to do with it? All right. And, you know, I love mentors that hold me accountable to the light that's inside of me, my next light. All right. And 3 is investing and being unapologetic about it. It means that you say yes quickly. You have the capacity to do that because you want to change your life. You are a decider, not a person that, you know, is in indecision and it just stays there forever, not interested. And I promise you, the mentorship that I'm talking about is for that woman who's like, she has capacity for herself. And the 4th thing is speed, consistency of execution. Nothing happens if you're inconsistent, and nothing happens if you're inconsistent, right? Like, so we're talking about those individuals who have the ability to have capacity. If you've been looking for a mentorship that sees you, and this is a special opportunity for the first 10, and I'll share with you on a private call, and I will take that call, what that looks like after speaking with you and finding out how I can best support you with your next level goal. I have to be a fit for you, but you have to be a fit for me. And together we'll rock it all the way out. I hope that this has supported you in some way. Are there any questions? Any questions that I can answer before I sign off? I'm Mia Redrick, business and life consultant. This is a good live. For those of you who just joined me, y'all have missed it. You need to go back, hear this recording. There's a really unique opportunity for those of you who are about it and who want to run into September with it done. Okay, if you want to run with it done, then this is for you. All right. It was great having the opportunity to share with you guys. Last call, any questions that I can answer? I see that a lot of folks online. Any questions that I can answer? And I'll give you a couple seconds for that. If so, I'll answer those. If not, I look forward to your DMs. I look forward to your private messages. I look forward to you completing the application. I'll post the link one more time for your convenience. And I look forward to speaking to you today. All right. Let me see here. Okay. All right. I want to thank you for your time, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a good night.
I have been working with Mia Redrick for a couple of months now. I come to this experience with a lot of education. She was speaking my language from day one. What has changed for me is with all of the education, with all of the training and workshops and private coaching and things that I've had, what I didn't have was a real understanding on how I could package these things, price them, and promote them so that I could monetize what it is that I do and what it is that I wanted to do. And now with Mia, I have an understanding of how to take my tangible and intangible gifts, talents, and skills and put those things in a package that allows me to serve other people and benefit from it.
I was stuck. I never thought of my knowledge as something that I could create it as a proprietary system. What is the value of that? For me, it is priceless. And I'm so happy I made the investment because I can now see how my business can be transformed and how I can be transformed as a result of this work. So I cannot thank Mia enough.
Before I met Mia, I was selling my product for a very low price, and I did not just believe in what I was worth. So I had to change my mindset. I had to change the way I thought. I had to start believing in abundance and expecting it. And so these are the things that I had to learn as Mia mentored us. Now I'm happy to say I'm selling my product for what it's worth.
Before working with Mia, I couldn't sell a $297 product. After working with Mia for about 10 months, I was pitching a $10,000 product to a company.